Hey folks, happy Tuesday. Yesterday, episode 24 of the Max Afterburner podcast dropped, and it is an absolute must listen. You've never heard a more American horror story in the treatment of a veteran, or maybe you have, and that's maybe part of the problem, man, but you've never heard what you're going to hear on the Max Afterburner episode 24 podcast with Kagan Smurf Gill. What does Smurf stand for? Scrappy motherfucker. This guy's an F-18 Hornet pilot who ejected just about supersonic. Just below the speed of sound, Smurf punched out of his Hornet, 695 miles an hour, I believe. Now, if you listen to my podcast from a couple weeks ago, I told you my highest altitude in the Hornet, about 60,000 feet, to my fastest, like Mach 1.8, was it 1,300 miles an hour? And I had a decision to make at that point, like, hey man, if I punch out right now, I'm going to be vaporized. So why don't I try and stay with the airplane? So go listen to that pod. Maybe go listen to that one if you didn't listen to it yet, and then listen to episode 24, because Smurf made the decision to punch. And it broke. It's quicker to list the things that didn't get destroyed in his body, because everything else got destroyed, man. This guy and the cold Atlantic Ocean, man, just insane story of survival. Just first of all, surviving the ejection, getting in the ocean. One of his parachute sea wars didn't go off. They're supposed to, in case your arms are broken like his were, everything's supposed to automatically inflate. The parachute's supposed to release. And instead, only one of them released, government mil-spec, and the other one's like dragging him under to his death. Just, it's an absolute story of survival, of heroism. He got rescued by a rescue swimmer who made the right call, and then they took him to a trauma center. Took him a couple years, man. He actually, after everything being broken and you're never going to speak again or walk again, to flying in the Hornet again. Flew in the Hornet again until another incident airborne with this delayed onset PTSD, and man, that begins his absolute American horror story at the hands of the United States Navy and then being handed over to the VA. It's stunning to me. When I talked to Smurf before, I'm like, oh man, fastest eject, holy shit, yeah, that's awesome. In the hour that I dug in, I was crawling out of my skin, and this is new me. This is post-medicine, this is namaste, and everything's great. It's infuriating. It's a disgrace. You have got to listen to Max Afterburner episode 24 today. Listen on Spotify with me and my buddy Joe Rogan, Stitcher, iHeart, or Apple Podcast. I implore you to do this. Why? Because on Friday, we're going to record episode, the part 2 of his episode, because his life, he literally has to try, he got treated worse than a prisoner of war at the hands of our VA, and he had to escape from a VA hospital. And you know what saved his life? Plant medicine, psychedelic assisted therapy, which he found on his own. It's absolute insanity, folks. But I wanted to really, please, this is what our No Fallen Heroes project is all about. Take a listen to episode 24 of the Max Afterburner podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or iTunes. And let me know what you think about the story of Smurf. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge in this volatile market. Namaste, and fights on.